Hey, welcome back. So today we're talking about 8 measures you can take to optimize your sleep. And that's both getting to sleep, that's staying asleep, that's waking feeling like, wow, I had a great night's sleep. So the first thing to consider is this: blood sugar regulation. Preparing for a great night of sleep, it starts and can start with that first meal of the day. So things like bagels, croissants, cereal. Literally, no matter how many times it says whole grain, multigrain, heart protective, if it's cereal, it's cereal. Donuts, all these, they set our body up for a roller coaster of blood sugar the rest of the day. It's just like, woo, woo. That is not going to help us get a great night's sleep or help us wake up refreshed the next morning if that is the day we lived in. Because the thing is, this creates cellular stress and a dysregulated cortisol rhythm, which makes quality sleep super hard to find. However, if your breakfast, your break fast, looks like protein and a bunch of fiber, you can expect a much more optimal blood sugar response. And this keeps wild fluctuations of cortisol in check. It ensures a robust output of neurotransmitters to support sleep because you're getting the protein in, which contains amino acids, which the neurotransmitters build themselves out of. So the first thing we want to do if we're going to get a good night's sleep is wake up, have ourselves a tall glass of water, and then a nice high protein, high fibrous breakfast. Scratch the cereal, scratch the donuts, scratch the pumps of syrup in your coffee. All right, number 2, do not try to go to sleep. Sounds interesting, right? But putting effort into sleeping is a sure way to create anxiety around sleep, and it'll make it very challenging to go to sleep. So rather than putting all this effort into sleeping, put effort into rest. I know this can sound like semantics, but a human cannot force sleep. But we can consciously create a state of physical and mental rest. So when you're going to go lay down at night, you are laying down to rest. It's not semantics, it works. Thankfully, the side effect of resting our body in a dark, cool, quiet room is sleep. So number 2 is the next time you are wanting to go to sleep, instead of trying to force sleep on you, think, I'm going to go lay down and just rest. I'm going to relax my body. I'm going to relax my mind. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to get in a dark room. I'm going to just cool my being down. So number 3, avoid eating large meals within the 3-hour time frame before bedtime, because food ingestion, it literally is a signal to our being that it's time to wake up. It's time to get after it. It's time to go to work. It's time to activate and energize ourselves, which is the exact opposite thing we're trying to make happen when we're going to bed at night. We don't want all this blood flow surging to our digestive tract and energy rushing there. That's increasing our core temperature. So if you're going to eat, I would suggest keeping it really, really, really light, and stay away from high processed, sugary, floury foods that are going to spike your blood sugar, spike your insulin level, and making it almost impossible for regenerative sleep to happen. I would choose a small piece of fruit, some nut butters, whole fat yogurt, glass of whole milk, cooked vegetables, some berries with heavy whipped cream on it. Those would be reasonable pre-bed snacks if you really need something. Okay, so next up, keep your bedroom doors open during the day to promote an optimal airflow. Or if you can, I would open up your windows, get a nice cross breeze going, because a room without airflow will have increased carbon dioxide levels. Not monoxide. Monoxide is going to kill you, right? But carbon dioxide can build up, and that can be super stressful on the body. An elevated carbon dioxide level in the air disrupts REM sleep cycles. And REM sleep cycles, when they're thrown off, will make us or cause us to wake up in the morning feeling groggy and just like, oh, it's difficult to get out of bed and get going. Nobody wants that. So there's a small study that showed sleep quality increased by 24% when people actually slept with their bedroom door open. So you might think, I blocked my door, security. But the body likes less CO2 in the air. So unfortunately, indoor air is often far more polluted than outdoor air. And about 7 years ago in my own life, we were living in a house with very poor airflow. And I was waking up day after day with a headache and just feeling, man, I'm exhausted every morning. Come to find out, this is all occurring because when we got our carbon dioxide levels checked, which just you need a little IQ air monitor to check your carbon dioxide levels, that they were over 2,000 parts per million. In a typical, say, well-ventilated room, should be around 400, about 600 parts per million. So we were just, we were up in that upper threshold, and probably our attitude is probably less awesome at home because we're constantly inundated with all this carbon dioxide, and I was getting headaches. But once we started opening up the windows and getting a nice cross breeze going through our house and down our hallway to our room, my headaches went away, and our carbon dioxide levels dropped, and it would be consistently under 600 parts per million. So it's way bigger a deal than a lot of people realize. Just having that constant, everything airtight, closed off, that literally could be affecting your sleep quality that you're getting. Okay, next up is you just want to chill out. Literally chill the body out. As the body prepares for sleep, our core temperature should naturally decrease. And this drop in core temperature actually helps initiate the sleep cycle. However, if a person is exercising just before bed, eating a big meal, getting in a big old fight, or you're getting on Twitter wars or something, your core temperature is going to rise, and that's going to turn off all the sleep signals and the whole cycle that we need to go through. So now the ability to go lay down and fall asleep, it's going to be really challenging. In fact, melatonin, the main hormone signal for sleep onset, actually increases as body temperature goes down. This is where using things like the chili pad, which is actually a name brand of a chili pad you can lay on, or just take an extra time to relax, read a book, with just light covers on you, not like a big old comforter on you, to like cooling down your room before you go to bed. All these things can help allow your core temperature to drop more and turn on that sleep response. And if you're having sleep challenges or sleep isn't restful, and you're consuming any caffeine, then you really want to consume your green tea, black tea, coffee, energy drinks. Hope you're not doing energy drinks, but if you are, those as well. Whatever your source of caffeine is, you really want to consume it like 8 to 10 hours before you want to lay down and go to sleep, because it takes all this time to clear caffeine and the effects of caffeine on shutting down our sleep desires of our being, shutting those down. So, people who are caffeine tolerant, they'll often say that they can drink a coffee right before bed, still fall asleep, no big deal. And it is true, yes, they can drink a coffee and still fall asleep, but if you're doing that, you are still not getting the rejuvenating, refreshing quality of sleep you could be getting. So I would recommend not doing that. There's a difference between being asleep and actually getting sleep. All kinds of people with sleep apnea go to sleep and sleep the whole night, and yet they're not getting quality sleep. Their oxygen levels are terrible, and they're putting themselves at great risk for cardiovascular disease, strokes, diabetes, and all that kind of stuff. So being asleep and actually getting quality sleep, those are two different things. So at a minimum, I would aim to get your caffeine at least 6 hours before you want to go to sleep, even if sleep is easy after a coffee. And if sleep is challenging for you at all, then give yourself at least 10 hours with no caffeine. And generally, if a person's having trouble sleep and they're drinking coffee, tea, black tea, green tea, energy drinks, I'm just going to say, well, let's just stop them, because sleep is so much more valuable than having a little bit of caffeine come in your body. Recognize we all wake up, or we all cycle through about 90 to 120 minutes of sleep cycles. So some people notice each time they come through that sleep cycle, because we basically all wake up. Some of us go right back into sleep. Other of us notice, oh my goodness, I woke up. And we think, man, slept terrible. I wake up every 90 minutes, every 2 hours I'm waking up. every single night. My sleep is terrible. The deal is, what researchers have found is that when they actually test wake patterns, they look at these people who are waking up every 90 to 120 minutes thinking that they're complete insomniacs, their sleep is terrible, that these people are actually getting just as much sleep, just as much quality sleep as these other people who are getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep where they just don't notice they're waking up. So strongly consider, literally how you think about sleep. And sometimes just knowing about sleep and knowing that, oh my goodness, my body goes through, like everybody else on the planet, goes through like about a 90-minute to 120-minute cycle. And that every 90 to 120 minutes, it does come into the waking phase. And then it goes back into the sleep phase again. And this is completely okay. This is completely normal. Just that understanding itself can hopefully help decrease some of the anxiety people have around waking up in the night and then trying to get back to sleep or falling back asleep. And it's okay. It's okay for that to happen, because you could very well be getting just as good a sleep as the person who thinks they're sleeping all the way through the night, because none of us actually are. We are all having some kind of waking phase. All right, next up is practice visualization. Just like anything else, you want to visualize what you want your being to do. So take time during the day or while you're brushing your teeth, while you're taking your makeup off, visualize yourself lying down. And when you do lay down, how comfortable you're going to feel and how much calm and peace is going to come over your body and your mind. And sure, maybe that first time doesn't seem like it does anything. Second time, third time, who knows? But as you keep doing this, you're going to create a state where this is the expectation of your mind, of your body when you go lay down, that it actually is going to be peaceful. It actually is going to be restful. It actually is going to be a state of great calm and comfort. Often I have my patients describing in great detail how terrible their sleep is and the anxiety and just the stress that goes into just thinking about laying down at night, and not being able to fall asleep, which in one sense is great. I need to know all the details. I want to know exactly how it works so I can best serve you and help you and create the treatment plan that's going to be most optimal. However, once you've put that out, you've told somebody that's going to help you, you've told your doctor, your sleep situation, and you've created a plan of action and you're implementing it, it really is imperative that we stop rehearsing the terribleness that's going to come on us when we go lay down our sleep patterns, because we are literally entraining in our brain, in our being, what we talk about and think about. Those things only become more magnified in our life, and they're going to make insomnia that much more of a thing that we are going to experience. So this is why we set our imagination, our intention, our consciousness by visualizing a restful, rejuvenating night of sleep. That's paramount if we're actually going to enjoy a manifested awesome night of sleep. And I would also mention that studies show that people who go lay down to bed at night and they're getting to bed super late and they say and think that their sleep will be refreshing and they'll be so rested, whether or not they go to bed and get 4 hours of sleep or they go to bed and get 8 hours of sleep, those people who have that kind of mindset, that kind of outlook related to sleep, they actually do wake up the next day feeling more rejuvenated, more refreshed, and are more capable. Their cognitive function is better during the day. So it is true, our mind can overshoot and overpower how our body's going to manifest. And so we want to make sure that our thought patterns, our thinking patterns, our words we're using, that they are in line with how we want our body and our mind to actually manifest. If you are not already implementing these sleep empowering strategies, I would grab a couple of these 8, put them to work, start adding them one at a time into your routine, because medications that just put you out, a lot of them do work pretty well. They do put you out, but they are not permitting your being to enjoy regenerative sleep. And just like you're watching this, you probably know, hey, a night of satisfying sleep is a huge ally in a journey of health accumulation. Whereas just knocking you out, sure, it can put you asleep, but that is not regenerative. That is not restorative. That is not, longevity promoting sleep that we all desire to have. All right, I'm Dr. Matt. I hope you like this. Hope you share it. Send it to somebody who's having sleep issues. Allow them the opportunity to put some of these hacks or these sleep opportunities into motion, so they can fulfill their desire for regenerative, life-giving, making your day awesome sleep. All right, talk to you guys later.